Well, Saturday is traditionally the start of a big weekend in South Dakota. That's because it is the pheasant hunting season opener. Typically, tens of thousands of out-of-state hunters come here to hunt. But with the pandemic, will they be a little gun-shy? Ian Thrice-I on Kettleland, we catch up with a few out-of-staters to find out if they're still planning to come here to hunt. South Dakota is the pheasant hunting capital of the world. But will the pandemic shoot holes into that title?
We've been coming for almost 10 years now.
Dustin Medlin from the Kansas City area says he loves hunting in South Dakota. Typically, there are more than a dozen hunters in his group, including his dad. He says he's not worried about contracting COVID-19 and is not going to miss opening weekend.
I'm not going to put my life on the back burner and not do things that I love to do with people that I love to do them with.
We've been coming for over 30 years now, every year, and we just love it.
Elmo Zebach of Alabama is also still planning to come for the pheasant opener this weekend.
Once you get out in the field, you're kind of away from everybody. You be social distance. We try to stay about 30, 40 feet apart when we're walking through the field.
Zebach says his group is planning to make some changes due to the pandemic.
And we're probably going to bring more food than we usually do and cook out some rather than go to restaurants.
Officials with the Game Fish and Parks Department don't know exactly what kind of impact the pandemic will have on this year's hunting season, but they're confident there will be plenty of out-of-staters still flocking here.
What we are seeing right now, at least from existing license sales for both residents and non-resident hunters, those numbers are up right now compared to last year at this time, so that's really encouraging to see.
The Game Fish and Parks Department says it'll have a better idea of how many out-of-staters are still coming in a few days.
It wouldn't be unusual to see somewhere in that neighborhood of 25 to 35 or 30,000 licenses sold this coming week. And I'm just looking from a historical perspective. It's just a really big week.
He says there have been some cancellations, though, due to COVID-19.
A few of the private shooting preserve have shared that some of their reservations and groups that were coming in have canceled this year, but in most cases, it is more of a corporate hunt where a company or corporation was going to send a group of hunters.
But for guys like Medlin and Zebach, they're ready to shoot some birds and see old friends.
And everybody's just really nice, and they take good care of us and friendly, when we go into the local bar, and the other hunters are always nice, and we're always talking to other hunters and sharing stories, and it's just good camaraderie.
The great thing about pheasant hunting, like many of our other outdoor recreations, we're outdoors, right? And folks can be outside, they can spread apart, and if there's an activity that lends itself great to the current situation, pheasant hunting is a great example. And I don't think that's really going to curtail people from enjoying that. In fact, it might actually elevate the participation, knowing that South Dakota is open. This is a great place to come pheasant hunting, and there's some good opportunities out there.
Time will tell. Now, the Game Fish and Parks made a couple of changes to this year's pheasant hunting season. Hunters can start at 10 a.m. instead of noon, and they can now hunt until the end of January.